Good morning, children and mom and dads everywhere, and welcome to another great installment of Sunday School at Living Lord Lutheran Church. How are you today, Mrs. Mary Ellen?
Fabulous. How are you?
You are looking wonderful as always.
Thank you.
I am good. I'm kind of warmer now that
A little warmer now that we're
temperatures have
moving
come back
around.
this weekend. It was cold during the week.
Oh yeah,
Let's
frost.
check in on our good friend, Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob, how are you
I
today?
am doing
Are you
great.
staying nice and warm as well?
I am.
You are looking well groomed behind that camera today, Mr.
Yeah,
Bob.
the dog groomer had a special, so
Yes.
it was awesome.
Well, kids, we have a great lesson today. They're always good.
They're all
And
good.
this one is from Mark. We're going to go to chapter 12, verses 38 through 44.
Okay.
But before we do that, let's get up on our feet. Have your moms and dads sing along with you at home to
Big House.
I know you know this one. 2, 3, 4, come and go with me to my Father's house. Come and go with me to my Father's house. It's a big, big house with lots and lots of rooms. A big, big table with lots and lots of food. A big, big yard where they can play football. Touchdown, a big, big house. That's my Father's house. Sure, I can hear you. Join along. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come and go with me to my Father's house. Come and go with me to my Father's house. It's a big, big house with lots and lots of rooms. A big, big table with lots and lots of food. A big, big yard where they can play football. Touchdown, a big, big house. It's my Father's house. Well, thanks, Mrs. Mary
I love that
Ellen.
one every time we do
It is
it.
a good song. It was first from Vacation Bible School,
It was.
wasn't it?
It was.
That's a good song. Well, children, moms and dads, we have a lot of spaces on our chalkboard today.
Wow.
That's a big
Wow.
word.
That is
Wow.
a big word.
It's going to be
It's
hard
almost
keeping.
all the letters of the alphabet.
Yeah, it's going to be
It
hard
is.
keeping them in order.
It will be hard keeping them in order. I think history has proved that sometimes with long words, Mr. Steve has a hard time keeping them in order. But let's count them. 11 letters. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm having a hard time remembering who started first last time. So, Mr. Bob, how about we use chivalry rules where a man is nice to the woman? Would you let Mrs. Mary Ellen go first today?
I would love to.
Oh, you are such a
Bob, how
nice guy.
sweet.
Mrs. Mary Ellen, before we go into the word, I believe you have to hit the red button.
How exciting.
A double.
What's that mean? A double,
A double
letter.
letter.
Mrs. Mary Ellen, you need to hit it again.
Another double letter, so 2 double letters.
Double. And then, quite a few weeks ago, Mr. Bob said, what if we ever have a word that has 3 letters? And he brought in a new buzzword. This is big today. So, Mrs. Mary Ellen, 2 double doubles,
Okay.
a triple, and Mr. Bob is being kind to you, and he's going to let you go
Okay.
first.
M for Mike.
That's always a good guess.
I just have to check, there's so many letters.
No M for Mike?
Kids at home, moms and dad, M, always a good guess from Mr. Mike. But there's no M in our word today, Mrs. Mary Ellen.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Bob, how about you?
I'm going to go, I feel there's something close to an N. I'm going to go N.
N,
N.
you would be correct.
Ooh.
Okay,
And I would
Bob's
be
got a
leading.
point.
Right? I'm leading right now?
You are leading, I'm sorry, Bob. That is really important that I get that one little chalk stick up there for you,
Yeah.
Mrs. Mary Ellen, who currently has 0. It's your turn, Mrs. Mary Ellen.
Okay, how about an A?
An A.
It's the first letter.
Oh, 2 A's. A.
Hey.
As Fonzie would say.
3.
A.
Wow.
Wow. Mr. Bob, don't be discouraged.
Yeah,
Lots of
I'm
letters.
discouraged.
There's still a double-double up there.
What about a B for Bob?
B is always a guess close to my heart, Mr. Bob. There's no B in today's word. Mrs. Mary Ellen.
S for Steve.
Oh,
S for Steve.
stupendous.
Stupendous Steve.
Oh. Wow, she is raking in the letters. Are there other vowels?
There are other vowels, Mr. Bob. You might want to think about, a vowel that has a hole in it and a loop that comes around at the bottom. Just yeah.
How about E? Does that have a whole little loop?
It looks like the.
Oh, I got one. Woo!
Hit the red, Mrs. Mary Ellen.
Oh, I got a double. Yay.
Coming back.
This is a nail biter.
This is.
Mrs. Mary Ellen.
I'm gonna guess a C. Could there be one?
There not only could be one, it is
At the end
of the
here.
word, Mr. Bob.
Dances.
We are looking for the other double that's in here, which would
There's another
really
double.
help you
Are
out.
there any more vowels?
There is no more vowels. They are all gone.
I'm gonna go L.
L. No L in the word, Mr. Bob. That was an important guess, Mrs. Mary Ellen.
R.
R is a royally good guess. Now, Mr. Bob, I am wondering if the word might appear to you as you are looking up at our word of the day.
I think I'm getting it.
Are you getting it?
I think so. Are there any P's?
Not only is there one P, Bob,
There you go, Bob. Appearances.
Came back, but-
Yay!
Yeah.
It was close.
it was very
close.
close. You finished strong.
Yes.
You finished strong, Mr. Bob.
Wow.
Well, we have this great story, and the word is appearances. So what we need to think of today is this word appearances and what it means. So I could say that appearance, how a person looks, maybe by the way they're dressed. Are their shoes shined? Do they have their hair combed? That is a way of saying the word appearance. You could think maybe of a magic trick. And maybe all of a sudden the magician makes something appear out of a hat. But then there's appearances that don't have to do with how you look, but how people view you. And in that, do you try to make yourself look important with your appearance? We're going to hear about
This is
this
intriguing.
in our story today. And just like we did Big House, come and go with me to my Father's house. Think of 2 in this story.
Okay.
Jesus pointed across the temple.
See that man by the treasury?
The disciples did see him. The man strutted around and he swished his fancy robes. This rich man looked pleased with himself. Then he pulled out a big bag of coins out of his robe. He looked around to make sure people were watching. "I am sharing my money," he announced in a loud voice. And he dumped a handful of coins in the offering box. Jingle, jangle, crash. The coins dropped noisily into the box. Everyone looked, and the man beamed. He looked very pleased with himself. Jesus pointed again.
Do you see that widow over by the treasury?
The disciples looked. Where was she? Finally, they saw her. A small woman in plain robes slipped between people to get to the offering box. The widow dropped 2 small coins in the offering box. Clink, clink, and then she slipped away.
Did you see the difference? The rich man gave a little handful of his large bag of money. He wanted everyone to see him. The widow gave all her money, all 2 coins. She didn't want to be seen. When you share, be like the widow, give quietly. Don't try to impress others. That's the kind of sharing I like to see.
Thanks, Mrs. Mary
You're
Ellen.
welcome.
You know, that reminds me today in our story, I think you put out the glass offering
Yeah,
jar,
yeah.
and I've been saving lots of coins.
Wow,
And I'm
that's a lot of money.
gonna put my money in here. That ought to about do it. Oh, I think somebody's calling, Mrs.
Oh.
Mary Ellen. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Is he gone?
He is.
You know, I have some money to give too, and I've been saving for a long time, but I've had a lot of expenses and I haven't been able to save as much money as Mr. Steve. So I've got 2 pennies and I'm gonna put those in to share,
Awesome.
but don't tell him.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Bob. Hi,
Missed
Mrs.
you.
Mary
Hi.
It's
Ellen.
good to have you back.
Thank you. So I'm going to take the rest of my money. I'm going to put it here behind the altar. Did anything happen while I was gone, Mr. Bob?
Well, I really wasn't supposed to say, but Mrs. Mary Ellen put a couple pennies in there.
She
in the
did?
tiller.
She put in as much as I did, Mr. Bob?
Not as much, but she put in all she had.
Oh. Oh.
She only had 2 pennies, and she put them both in there.
So I guess I'd have to ask Mr. Bob, who do you think put in more money then?
Well, monetarily you did, but she gave everything she had, and you still have a little left over.
You know what, Mr. Bob, I have a lot left over. You know, Mrs. Mary Ellen, that was a very nice thing for you to do.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Steve.
I know you've been saving really hard, and I know it was really hard for you to get those 2 pennies. You gave all of those.
I did.
Well, kids, if we think about what we just saw here, and we think about our story from Mark, the man in the story, he wanted people to see him. Remember it said he had some big flowing robes, and he walked in a way that people would know he was important. He was clanking his money. And he went over to the offering plate and he put 1 handful of money in there. And he did it very loudly. He dropped those coins in so that everyone would turn around and see. And if you've ever had a lot of coins, like Mr. Steve has here, and I was clinking these around, coins can make a lot of money. But the man did it because, remember I said appearances, it's that you're trying to look important and people look at you and they say, wow, look how important that person is. That's why he did it. And Jesus asked the disciples, he said, watch what this man does. And then when the man put his little bit of money in there, and it might have been a lot of money, but he didn't put all of it that he had in there, he walked away kind of really important. And then Jesus said to the disciples, look at the woman over by the treasury box. And the disciples had to look for her. She was not important. She was dressed in a plain robe. And very quietly, she walked up there and reached into her robe and took out 2 coins and put those in to the offering basket. And Jesus said to the disciples, who gave more? Because as Mr. Bob pointed out, in what Mrs. Mary Ellen and I did, she gave everything that she had, which was the 2 pennies she'd saved. Then he told the disciples, this woman gave everything that she had. And when we think about giving, it is important that we always have money to maintain, whether it's our house, like your mom and dad might do, or they have food that they put on the table so that you can all eat, or it's the clothes that you wear in the summer and the winter. But giving to those that are in need is what Jesus asks us to do. And the other thing he did say to the disciples is, God would prefer that you give quietly. You don't need to make a big deal out of it. You don't need loud music blaring, and you don't need to walk in with your robe and your money clanging, just like the woman in the story did. She went into her robe, she put her money in the offering, and she quietly left. What a great story. And
It's a good story.
Great with appearances.
Appearances, wonderful.
Well, I think we should sing, shout,
Let's
and
sing.
clap
Okay.
and give praise to our Maker who gives
Excellent.
us such great stories like we had from Mark 12 today. Up on our feet again. Sing, shout, clap your hands, give praise unto your Maker. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Sing, shout, clap your hands, give praise unto your Maker. For the Lord, He is Almighty God. This is the day of celebration. This is the day to rejoice. The Lord our God is our deliverer. So let's just praise His name. Sing, shout, clap your hands, give praise unto your Maker. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Sing, shout, clap your hands, give praise unto your Maker. For the Lord, He is Almighty God. Great, Mrs. Mary Ellen. You know, before we close out today, we had a couple of birthdays during the week.
Yay.
So the first birthday on the first day of November,
Yes.
our daughter Jillian had a birthday, and she is just the apple of our eye.
Absolutely.
We just love her. So our daughter Jillian had a birthday on the 1st, and on the
On
5th,
the 5th.
Hazel Mills.
Hazel.
She is the daughter
Yes.
of our administrative and finance person at church, Mrs. Nicolette.
Oh.
So we want to say happy birthday.
Happy 3rd birthday, I
Happy
believe.
3rd birthday.
Yes.
Absolutely. Happy 3rd birthday to Hazel. So for Jillian and Hazel, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jillian and Hazel. for moving into fall. And we thank you for the change of time to give us a little more daylight in the morning. We thank you for this great lesson from Mark chapter 12 today about appearances. And we learned about the man that gave a lot of money, not all of his money, but he gave it in such a way that he wanted people to know he was important, and he made a big deal out of putting his money into the offering. And as Jesus pointed out to the disciples, he said, watch the woman over there by the treasury box, who stepped forward plainly dressed and took all she had, 2 coins, and placed them into the offering. Let's remember that God, that we give what we have, and we don't make a big deal out of it. Just like the woman that gave all she had to help those that were less fortunate, may we give what we have to help those that are less fortunate. That's what you asked us to do. That's what you said your Father approved of, is that we help each other in the world, those that need that help, that are less fortunate. And we do it in a way that is respectful and quiet. We ask, God, that you continue to watch over our caregivers in the world, our doctors and our nurses and our emergency medical technicians, firemen and policemen, our teachers, God. And we ask that you watch over our children, protect them and keep them safe. In your name we pray. And all God's children shout, Amen. Boy, we had a great time today, kids.
We did.
We'll see you next
See you next
week. Be
week.
good.